I need more power.
And grab. Come on, Zach.
Here's the whole drama. That looked too flattering. Don't forget to record.
I'm doing it now already. Okay, guys, have a seat. Whoever unplugged that lamp, it was on, so someone go plug it in and turn it back on. If you're not gonna bring stuff charged, I want lights plugged back in. Thank you. Okay, so 6.2. This is 6.2. So put 6.2. Huh? Come on. This is school. Bring me right in your temper. Okay, so put 6.2 in the upper right-hand corner. I want everyone to go back to their original seats, please. Thank you. Okay, 6.2. So as I look at 6.2, we are solving systems by substitution. So we are still solving a system. System means what? When I say a system of equations, what do I mean? We talked about it in 6.1 last Thursday. What's a system mean? Then get your notes out from 6.1. When I refer to a system of equations, what do I mean? You okay? I scored that out of 10. Good job. You good, Colton?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yes.
Wait, how come I got yelled at for that yesterday?
Because you were like obnoxious about it.
No, I tripped.
Okay. So, as I look at solving a system, guys, listen up. System. What's a system of equations? What do I mean by a system of equations? Maya? Two or more equations. So when I refer to a system, all I mean is I'm talking about two equations. Now, what we've done up to this point is we have solved by graphing. What were some of the issues with solving by graphing? What were some of the issues we had with solving by graphing? The lines had to be exactly what? No? No. When I was graphing, I had to make sure the lines were exactly what? Straight. If they weren't exactly straight, your points were off a little bit. Also, you kind of had to estimate. If it hits between two numbers, two intervals, it's hard to tell if it's 0.5 or a half or a quarter or whatever. So solving by graphing is a good way to review graphing, but it's not the best way to solve an equation because you cannot get an exact answer. So this is the second method to solve. This is called substitution. Okay? So, yes, we're going to get to it later this week. So here are the steps to solve using substitution. It is in the name. If I am using substitution, I am substituting things in for something else. First step, you have to solve an equation for x or y. And I'll show you why you have to do that in a second. So you have to make sure one of the equations is either x equals stuff or y equals stuff. That's the first thing with substitution. Step 2, you're going to take and you're going to substitute in. So you're going to you're going to substitute this expression into the other equation and solve for the variable. And then you're going to substitute again. You're going to substitute your answer into the revised equation from step 1 and solve for the other variable. Okay? So when I am solving a system, my answer had to be a what? When we were doing it by graphing, my answer had to be a what? Ordered pair. Okay? So you have to have an x and y. Same thing. Your answer has to be an ordered pair, x comma y. So you are going to find your x value and you are going to find your y value. You have to find both of them for these. Okay, any questions?
No.
Same idea, we are still solving a system, so we need to find the ordered pair where they cross. So instead of actually drawing the graph and see where they cross, we're going to solve it this way. I call this the Glade method. You're plugging it in. Glade method, old jingle. Plug it in, plug it in. You're plugging it in twice. You're substituting it in twice. Anybody remember that commercial? Am I too old? Don't laugh at me, Sierra. My voice is beautiful. Okay, so this is I refer to this as the Glade method because you are plugging stuff in twice. You're substituting twice. Okay? First thing you need to make sure is one of your equation has to be x equals or y equals. Let's look at number 1. Okay? This is a system. Why is number 1 a system of equations? Why is number 1 a system of equations? No. Why is number 1 a system of equations? No. We talked about this earlier. No. What is a system of equation? 2 or more. So why is number 1 a system? Because there's 2 equations. Do not overthink this. A system is 2 or more equations. There are 2 equations. This is a system. So as I look at this, we are going to use substitution. First step, you need to have an equation that is x equals or y equals. Do I have an equation that is x equals or y equals? Yes. Which one is x or y equals? The top one. The top one is y equals. So what that tells me is that y is 6x. Y and 6x are the same thing. Your second step is to take that 6x and substitute it in or plug it in for the y in the other equation. So that is why your first step is to have an x equals or y equals, so then you know what to plug it in for. 6x is the same thing as y, so step 2, I take 6x and plug it in where y is in the other equation. So I'm going to have 2x plus 3 times 6x, we'll do the multiplication in a second, equals negative 20. This is substitution. If I have a substitute teacher, I am gone. Your y value should be gone because I am taking 6x and substituting it in where y is. If I have a substitute teacher, I am gone. The substitute takes my place. So the 6x takes the place of y. Now, this is step 2. You should notice, Logan, keep your head up, please. You should notice, Logan, head up. You should notice I have an equation with only x left, so we can solve this equation for x. Let's multiply first. What's 3 times 6x? 18x. Cut it out, whoever's doing it, please. So multiply 3 times 6x, 18x. Now we're solving this equation for x. What's 2x plus 18x? 20x, we can combine. So 20x equals negative 20. Divide by 20, x equals negative 1. Now this is a system. You always have to have an ordered pair as a solution to a system, x comma y. This is step 3, plugging it in twice. Once I find x is negative 1, I substitute that in to find y. Now, let's use common sense. If I want to know my y value, which equation should I plug it into? Which equation should I plug it into? If I want to know the y value, which equation will be easiest to plug it into? The first one. It's y equals. Okay? Now, either equation will work, but I would choose the top one because it's already y equals. So either equation will work. However, if I want to know what the y value is, choose the equation that's already y equals. So you will always have kind of an easier of the 2 equations you can plug it into. 6 times negative 1. And we want my answer written as an ordered pair, which would be negative 1, comma negative 6. So if I would graph these 2 equations, that would be the point where they cross. So your answer is negative 1, comma negative 6. Okay. Students usually do pretty well with this stuff, so I'm hoping it goes pretty well. Okay, any questions on that? Let's look at 3. Okay, why is 3 a system of equations? There are 2 of them. System is 2 or more. There are 2 equations, so this is a system. First thing I need to check for substitution. Do I have an equation that's x equals or y equals?
Yes.
Yes, which one is x equals or y equals? The top is x equals 4y plus 7. So that's the first step, to make sure you have x equals or y equals. The second step, you start the substitution. I'm going to take 4y plus 7 and substitute or plug it in where?
For x.
For x in the other equation. So x is the same thing as 4y plus 7, so I can take 4y plus 7 and plug it in where x is. That's going to be 2 times, I am substituting it in. It takes the place of x, so x is gone. So 2 times 4y plus 7. I have to put parentheses around the 4y plus 7 because there's 2 terms. So it's 2 times 4y plus 7. The rest of my equation will be
Minus 6y equals 12.
minus 6y equals 12. The rest of your equation does not change. You're taking x, your 4y plus 7, and you're plugging it in where x is. Now, you should notice I have an equation with only what variable in it? Y. So I can solve this equation for y. What do I do first to solve this equation for y?
Multiply.
Yeah, which is called?
Distribute.
Yep. Distribute your 2.
8y.
8y plus,
Plus 14.
yep. We still have the minus 6y equals 12. So once you plug it in and simplify, it's an equation that we spent a ton of time doing. So basically you're just solving equations with this stuff after you plug it in.
8.
Simplify the left side. How will the left side simplify?
8 minus 6.
Which is 2y plus 14 equals 12. Yep, minus 14, minus 14. So I have 2y equals, what's 12 minus 14?
Negative 2.
Negative 2.
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2. Y is negative 1. So basically what we're doing is we are solving equation. We just have to plug something in first. Okay, that's part 2. I plugged it in and solved. Y equals negative 1. I have to have my ordered pairs and answer. I know y. Now I need to know what?
X.
X. So if I want to know x, I know y is negative 1. Which equation do I plug negative 1 in for if I want to know x? The first one. Doesn't matter. Either one will work, except the top one is easier because it's already x equals. So x equals 4 times, what's my y value?
Negative 1.
Negative 1 plus 7. So if I want to know x, use the equation that's x equals. Either one will work.
3.
There will be one that will be easier with substitution.
Negative 1.
4 times negative 1
Negative 4.
plus 7
3.
is 3. Write your ordered pair, x, comma, y. 3, comma, negative 1. I want to see ordered pairs, x, comma, y. So we are solving, we are still finding a point. However, we're doing substitution instead of graphing on this one. Do what? What part of number 1? It's the same format. Y is 6x. I take 6x and plug it where y is. Are you good? Okay, let me know if you need more help. Okay, so I'm going to pass out the homework.
Oh, sweet. Is that it?
No, we're going to do one more section, but this will get you started.